It is the November 8th/9th edition of the PFF Forecast, the post Week 9 Sunday night. And it's a little early because the New Orleans Saints just blew the doors off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're going to do a couple of big takeaways from this week's games, and then we're going to get into week number 10. Let's rock. All right, the first thing we have to address here is that you faded your boy.
Teddy, yeah.
Tedford B. Bridgewater.
It's just a joke at this point.
I took Teddy B. On the.
You went with PFF's model. It was like the one time I've gone against PFF's model too, and
yeah. For people that are curious, on the well, actually, we talked about this on the pod on Wednesday night. Another steak dinner on the line, and Teddy was not going to be denied. He understood how much it meant to me, and he balled out. I mean, they got out. Here's the interesting thing: watching that game, they got out to that big lead, and so obviously, as a 10-point underdog, you feel pretty good about them covering. But I did not. I did not really for a second feel comfortable.
Well, and the Chiefs, I mean, were a Butker extra point away from pushing that. We got it at 10.5, but it closed at 10. Like the Chiefs had issues in the kicking game there that kind of, they almost got there, and then eventually, as you said, Carolina showed quite a bit of spunk at the end there.
Because it was laying on 9 for a while.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like a silly turnover away. All the stuff that we had talked about, why the Chiefs are almost never dead against the spread. But to Bridgewater's, I mean, Teddy was 36 of 49, 310, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He had issues with turnovers,
and one of the biggest dick runs you will ever see.
We had a touchdown carry
on a fourth. It was 4th and 12. I want to say.
Yeah. Good on Ruel for going for it too.
Who?
Ruel. I wanted to fuck you on that one.
Raul. But that was one of the really fun games in the earlier slate, and then the second half slate was great.
We had the Raiders game was a sweat, and we had the Raiders, so I thought they were going to lose.
Why don't you start with your takeaway? You have a lot, so I'm curious to see which one you go with here.
Oh,
so you've been firing off some heat here over the past 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. Well, here's my takeaway.
Non-political, of course.
Here's my takeaway, and this is an about face a little bit on the Bills. Kansas City is a lot better than every other team in the NFL. If I had to look at the AFC for a second best team that I'm willing to, back moving forward, it's Buffalo. And here's my reasoning. The Ravens are not good on offense anymore. In fact, they're difficult to watch. The Steelers are, I think, at this point, they can't, they almost lost to Garrett Gilbert. They're 8-0, and we're happy for them, but we can't take them seriously as an elite team. Tennessee is a team, I love having a bunch of futures on them, but let's be honest, Tannehill was not good in the first half. They're very committed to running Derrick Henry no matter how bad it is. We talked about his under last night on the show. They're all contender-ishes, right? But if I'm really thinking, okay, what team could actually win the Super Bowl? I would say none, would be a teams I'd bet on, but at least Buffalo can move the football. And they're committed to being efficient. So yeah, you might get a snake eyes game out of Allen where you just can't hit the broadside of a barn. But you know what you're not going to get? You're not going to get 17 early down runs for the running backs there. Like we saw, the run to pass ratio in the first half this week was tremendous. And when Seattle scored 24 second half points today, and the Bills scored 20, they hung on. And that's what I like to see from a team. They don't have a good defense, but none of these teams have good defenses. Tampa Bay doesn't have a good defense, as we found out tonight.
Well, and I would mention this about the Bills. When they played the Chiefs, they at least had a strategy for playing defense that was sensible.
Yeah.
Edwards-Helaire
almost fumbled, and they would have had a chance to go up a winning score. They kept themselves in the game for as much time as anybody has. Other than the Raiders who beat them, but And they're very well coached. Josh Allen was terrific today. He's been sort of off and on, but that offense can move the football. Stephon Diggs leading the league in receiving.
To your point, in the first 2 quarters of the game this week, Buffalo threw the ball 94% of their plays. No other team over 90%. The Chiefs were the second most frequent at 88%. Now, the difference there is that the Buffalo Bills were in control of their game. The Chiefs were behind. The Bucs are next. They were obviously very far behind. And so that speaks to the understanding the Bills have that when you play the Chiefs or you play the Seahawks or you play these teams with a really good quarterback, you have to put up a ton of points and you can never take your foot off the gas. I like that a lot. I'm going to make a case for a couple of other teams because I'm with you. It's like this mishmash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And even the Chiefs didn't cover today, so you could make a case that they're playing below expectations, but our prior for them is such that they're 3 points better than the next best team. And I think that only grew today. I don't think it got any smaller.
If you go to PFF.com, we put the team power rankings on a points above average scale for you, and we do the same with quarterbacks. Mahomes obviously is quarterback number 1. But to get to quarterback number 2 in the AFC on a team that has, Deshaun Watson, which is interesting because I agree with that 100%. Deshaun Watson's the second best quarterback in the AFC and his team is so bad it doesn't matter. But then you're down there and it's like, there's just no one there that really scares you. And that's the huge difference. Mahomes is not just better than everyone else in the league, but he's like miles and miles and miles better than everyone else in his own conference. So that makes a huge difference. But if I'm looking at a team to try and find a team, the Ravens are tricky because their offense looked terrible today. I still have faith in the Tennessee Titans. Here are my reasons. Ryan Tannehill and those receivers, we saw last year what they could do. We saw them do it in the playoffs. They continue to be the most efficient team on early down passing. Now, they don't do it enough, but at least they're efficient when they do it. And of course, as you said, that all defenses are kind of bad. Tennessee would be my pick right now, along with, I guess, would you put Tennessee ahead of Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh did not look good today.
But the problem
people are gonna freak out. By the way, they're undefeated.
Yeah.
All this stuff. But
Tennessee did lose to Pittsburgh at home in a game where Pittsburgh gave them Pittsburgh outplayed them and turned the ball over, and that's really what gave them the chance. I like Arthur Smith from a design perspective. Mm-hmm. His plays look really good, especially in the passing game with the play action and everything. Derrick Henry has 23 more carries than the next highest guy. And he's averaging 3.5 yards per carry after contact, 1.1 before contact. They suck on offense. Mm-hmm. The offensive line without Luan and then Conklin left, and they tried to trade for Riley Reif, to Minnesota last week, and I need to see them call more pass plays. Honestly, the thing about Buffalo is they're committed to being efficient on offense. If they're not efficient on offense, it's because they didn't execute, not because they were stupid. It's the same thing you were talking about with Clemson on Saturday. It's they weren't not efficient on offense because they couldn't make plays. They weren't efficient because they chose the wrong plays. Tennessee's in that boat for me, man.
Are you ready for a reading from the good book of early down pass play percentage so far this season? Tennessee is 4th least frequent to throw the ball. They're one of only 4 teams that throw the ball on first or second down less than 50% of the time. They are at 49%. Right below them are the Cleveland Browns, who you can kind of see why, because as we talked about on Wednesday, Baker Mayfield not allowed in the kitchen. You're not letting Baker Mayfield cook. Second least frequent are the Baltimore Ravens, which you can understand because Lamar Jackson as a runner is dynamic, and when you run with the quarterback, it's a different story. Okay. Minnesota is number 1 at 46%. But Tennessee sticks out like a sore thumb in that group because they have a really dynamic passing offense. Why the hell are you not throwing the ball more on early downs with such a good quarterback? And A.J. Brown is ridiculous. Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith makes plays. So it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean they have the raw materials. They're just, I mean, they're what would you say as far as the cooking is concerned? I mean, they're like a sandwich shop at this point.
Yeah, a little hoagie shop.
They're like they're a sandwich shop.
I mean, Ryan Tannehill last year was the guy that opened up the hot new restaurant.
Yeah.
He was making stuff people had never seen before.
Yeah.
And he was cooking sandwiches before, and then, in Miami, or Cubans, I guess. All right. My takeaway. I'm not
this
sure.
This is going to be hot, I think.
I'm not sure how to phrase this here, but this is a team in the AFC. They're not the second best team in the AFC, but they are potentially next year, the year after, one of the teams best positioned to compete with the Kansas City Chiefs because they may have found a quarterback to lead them in the future.
Does he throw?
And he throws with his left hand.
Yes.
This is the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are for real. Tua is for real. And here's my take about Tua. And this dawned on me today watching him play. Okay, he looked really good today. And he looked really athletic. And 2 points came to mind. The first is the average quarterback in the NFL today is an athlete. Whereas 10 years ago, they were a statue.
Yeah.
Okay? That changes how hard it is to play defense. And to me, that's getting underrated. Here's the hottest one, though. You ready for this? Tua's hip injury has helped him dramatically. Here's my reasoning why. In order to recover from that, he has had to become a much stronger, much better athlete. He legitimately looked like a force to be reckoned with running the football. Oh, and by the way, he is an accurate assassin in terms of throwing the football. That is a deadly combo. And what Brian Flores is doing in Miami is, I think, really special, and they could be very good very soon. They needed some Cliff Kingsbury magic in order to win that game, because Kingsbury, if he just turns his brain on, uses Kyler Murray on a fourth and
Didn't
short.
he kick a field goal on second down like 2 Sundays ago and almost lost?
It's not good because Kyler Murray's a cheat code running the football. But if you are not, for anyone that was saying, oh, the Dolphins screwed up by not taking Herbert, you should start penning your apology letter. But it's too early to ordain anyone, right? The encouraging meter for Tua is really high. And I'm just super excited because I also think we underestimated the kind of swag level and confidence level that Tua has. He has it.
Yeah, he was great.
And
honestly, watching that game was such a treat. He was, because last week he was so bad, or not bad, but he just didn't have an opportunity. And we talked about this on the show. I mean, once that number got up to 6, it was a clear bet for, the Dolphins. I also wrote this week, I've had a couple of Dolphins related write-ups. Like I had the Dolphins, I had Tua over, I think it was 11 and a half TDs. I had Tua over, I think it was like 1,800 yards or something like that throwing. Those appear to be on track, but we also talked about the Dolphins last week as a playoff team, I believe, going into the week were plus like 140 or something. I thought that they were a good bet. That obviously goes up now. Their probability goes up after beating a team that they were supposed to lose to this week. Also seeing some weaknesses in the rest of the AFC helps. This will be fun. Chan Gailey, both coordinators for the Dolphins were top 5 play callers in our metrics, for a while here. They're getting a lot out of these players. And one thing that I thought was very encouraging was Devontae Parker played well today. One of the write-ups that I had, he was like, their passing map was sort of not very congruent. He was able to get him the football, but as we talked about on the show earlier, he also got the tight ends of football. And
I mean, think about this. Everyone was kind of like, Miami, whatever. Herbert looks great. Burrow looks great. Let's not forget that Miami got a player who would have been a number 1 overall pick in many drafts.
Yeah.
And may have gotten him as a better athlete than they would have otherwise. Now, I understand there's still concern about, re-injuring or injuring further whatever body part it is. But what a come up for them. And they have leveraged this process well to the point where we talked about the Bills, the second best team in the AFC. If they are playing the Dolphins, the Dolphins have a real shot here.
Yeah, the Dolphins were actually snake bitten a lot today defensively. We talked about how, they hadn't given up a lot deep. Today they did. I mean, Christian Kirk got over the top of them. They gave up a lot of penalties. Xavier Howard was flagged 3 times in the game. Like, their defense let them down in this game on the road. And Tua, came back from behind. They had a lead, they lost it, came back. They gave up the lead again, and then they go ahead and go and win the game. Neither rookie quarterback. Now I know Herbert's now 1-6 as a starter, but neither rookie quarterback today produced a turnover-worthy play. Herbert was a little less accurate against Las Vegas, 74.4 adjusted completion. Tagovailoa was 80%. So very encouraging signs, because when you look at like the top graded players of the position this week, Rodgers, Josh Allen, Big Ben, which I wouldn't have guessed, Breeze, Ryan, weirdly Foles in garbage time, and then you had sort of the youngsters of the league: Tua, Murray, Mahomes. Garrett Gilbert actually graded better than Justin Herbert, but then Herbert.
Yeah, all subject to change.
Yeah, all subject to change. But you start to see this
once Bruce gets a chance to.
You look at the league and you say, okay, Daniel Jones is probably not going to work out. Sam Darnold's probably not going to work out. Baker Mayfield's iffy. Lamar Jackson, even MVP of the league last year, a lot of question marks there. Lamar Jackson was the 19th best, highest graded quarterback this week. But now you're starting to see maybe some Herbert, maybe some Tagovailoa. There's some cool things happening at the QB position amongst youngsters.
Yeah, that was to me the most exciting thing about this week.
Yeah. Kudos to Brian Flores, who, like, we give Belichick assistants a lot of shit, and they've mostly earned it, but he looks like the real deal.
This was one of our friend Kevin Clark had a couple of good tweets today. The underrated one was, I'm going to paraphrase this, it was like, tired. Tom Brady was the reason that the Patriots were so great, not Bill Belichick. Wired, Brian Flores is the reason the Patriots are great, not Bill or Tom, which I thought was really funny. I mean, they look awesome. On to Week 10?
Let's do it.
Let's get there. Okay, I have 4 games that are qualifying as being really good games. Now, the 4th one, I don't know if I feel great about it. I also looking at these, I feel like they're all average now. Not great, but we'll get through them anyway.
I was wrong on a lot of them. But
Thursday night football, Indianapolis and Tennessee, right. A battle for the division here. What did you have the line at?
I said 2.5. I said Indy loses to Baltimore. Tennessee beats Chicago. Look ahead on the game was 1.5.
Interesting. I have Tennessee -3.
And it's Tennessee -2.5. Flat total on the game 50. This feels like an under game.
Well, Tennessee certainly played an under game today, but I remain kind of steadfast in the Tennessee plays over games, and if it hadn't been for Nick Foles, the Chicago Bears, holy God in heaven. Their commitment to handing the ball to David Montgomery out of the shotgun was only abated by David Montgomery getting hurt. So,
I'm not trying to advocate for injuries here, but I'm telling you that I can't take it anymore, man. Like, they'll get like they'll be down 17, and Foles will throw a beautiful 30-yard lollipop to Allen Robinson, and the next play, without fail, it's like a homily or something at church. It's like the next thing that happens. It has to be a David Montgomery run. I fucking don't get it, man. The Bears are dead to me. It was the most egregious game I've seen in a long time. I don't get it. Matt Nagy used to be good. He got Trubisky to 12-4 and like 8 yards a pass attempt. What the fuck happened to him? I don't get it.
I 100,000% concur with everything you just said. They suck.
Sorry, that wasn't even about this game, but it was bad. You made Tennessee's defense look good.
I know.
They're
without
awful.
Jadeveon Clowney.
I don't know, Desmond King touchdown. Chargers didn't need him, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't need those points.
By the way, it's a little juiced to Tennessee, 2.5. I do think that Tennessee is the better team here.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me though. This one's one I don't want to write up because when I think about this,
well, I do not. This feels as though it's going to stay 2.5, 3.
Yeah, it's gonna. Yeah,
I don't see it getting out to 3.5. I don't see it, crossing the other way. So you can kind of wait, see how things progress. Okay. Next game is Tampa Bay, Carolina. And I guess this is where we can talk about what the hell happened with Tampa Bay tonight. I have an interesting take on it, but I'm curious what you thought the line was for this.
I said Carolina +7, and I quote, Tampa Bay looks okay Sunday. Just a bit aggressive. The look ahead was 6.5. I didn't think there was much Carolina could do to change the line, although in hindsight now, it does look like just being a real tough team against Kansas City probably. What do you think this game is, 6?
I said 5.5. Before Sunday night, it was 4.5. And I don't know if there's an updated line anywhere. Doesn't look like it.
If it's 4.5, I would lay it with Tampa.
I am the believer in Teddy amongst the two of us, as has been clearly demonstrated over the past weekend. You were the one that was overreacting to Tampa's demise here, though, a second ago.
No, I wasn't. That was confirmation from what I said earlier in the week, right?
But they can still win the Super Bowl.
Yes. Because, look, if your bar is you have to be elite to win the Super Bowl, then they can't because they're not elite. But there's only one elite team in the NFL currently. So, yes.
Right, the team that couldn't cover against Teddy Bridgewater.
They can certainly win the Super Bowl. I have doubts, though, about a team.
What's on your shirt? Oh, a Chiefs Super Bowl shirt. Oh, okay.
No, it's not Super Bowl shirts. Oh, they came back against the Niners, came back against Tennessee, and came back against Houston in the playoffs.
It has a Super Bowl trophy on it.
Right.
It's a Chiefs Super Bowl
They
shirt.
Came back from 24 against Houston.
Right, I know.
10 against.
I'm not mentally deficient. I'm saying it's a shirt about the Chiefs winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. But okay, here's my take on Tampa. They can't win the Super Bowl because of the reasons that people are giving currently. The
reasons they can win the Super Bowl are that they have Tom Brady playing until today a very high level, and they have, when healthy, 4 really, really, really good receiving options.
Mm-hmm. But people thought that they could win the Super Bowl based upon having a brilliant defense. And what we talked about this morning
but I would disagree with that. I always thought so, and maybe I'm an idiot here, but I thought it was all about the people pointing out, and I pointed this out as well, and I don't think it's wrong, is to say, hey, people are saying Tampa Bay is going to be great because of their offense. Remember, their defense doesn't suck, and it doesn't.
Yeah. No, their defense doesn't suck. Their defense is just a defense. It's just like everyone else. But the people are talking about New Orleans as if they were some trash defense. Like, no, they have talent. Like, their defense and the Bucs defense going into the game weren't that much different. We had seen different outcomes, but as we talk about all the time, outcomes on defense are pretty
they're very unstable.
Yeah, they're very unstable. They give illusions of things. And so take a step back. We look, okay, is Tampa as bad as they showed tonight? No. Should they be lower in the power rankings than New Orleans? Probably, but not by like more than a point or two. And after tonight's game, they'll probably be a half a point worse than New Orleans on a neutral, which is probably where they should be. But people are going to overreact to that. They're going to overreact to New Orleans. But everybody had it wrong on them to begin with, which was that they're a Super Bowl contender because, God, look at that defense. A defense that let Daniel Jones drive the length of the field to almost tie the game on them just 6 days ago. So, yeah, I agree with you. The way Tampa will win the Super Bowl is based upon having extremely good weapons. But the question that I have for you as a return is, and he's done it before, so obviously your answer can be yes, and I won't think it's stupid, but 4 consecutive games playing well enough to win, is Tom Brady somebody that you're willing to bet on that with?
if Tom Brady isn't, then there's no other quarterback. Like
Pat?
God. Yes, Patrick Mahomes is elite. Are you okay now?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, Patrick Mahomes can do it. He won the Super Bowl last year.
After that.
As your shirt demonstrates.
Yeah.
Yes, he absolutely is. I mean, are you going to say, if you're going to throw Tom Brady out, then you got to throw Russell Wilson out too, because Russell Wilson's had a couple stinkers. He was not great today. Okay.
The only time Russell's won the Super Bowl, like this is how hard it is. And that's I guess the problem with this is because the bar is so high. And that's probably why we default to Brady, because he's done it before.
I'll also say this. The NFC doesn't have the Chiefs.
The NFC
does not have any team anywhere near the Chiefs. They have a lot of decent teams, a few good teams, and getting out of the NFC will be different than getting out of the AFC because you don't have to overcome Patrick Mahomes.
I think the one seed in the NFC, whoever lucks into it, will have a very sizable advantage because unlike recent seasons, it is so much more open. Like last year, New Orleans losing to Minnesota in round 1 was probably the luckiest thing that happened to San Francisco, other than Hollister being tackled at the 1, right? Like they were a formidable team. Only one team is going to benefit from that this year. Last year, Green Bay lucked into the NFC Championship game based upon the Saints, foibles against Minnesota and all that kind of stuff. I agree. Yeah.
So here's my reasoning for Tampa Bay. It's Antonio Brown's first week. Clearly, they didn't quite get what to do with him. Mike Evans, still seemingly not himself. Chris Godwin playing with like 7 fingers. Gronk is banged up. They had no Ali Marpet. Byron Leftwich shot himself in this game. They did not get it, okay?
Yeah.
They'll learn from it. They'll move on. Their guys will get healthy. Those 3 receivers plus Gronk plus Tyler Johnson plus Scotty Miller, like that is a lot, okay? And Brady has done a very good job of mitigating pressure, quick throws. They'll figure that out.
Yeah.
That is the reason they can win the Super Bowl. Not saying like I'm going to bet on them, but
yeah. See, that's the really hard thing for me, and
that depends on the market odds. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. When I look at the odds, I just really have a hard time pulling the trigger on almost anybody right now because I think.
But we don't know what they're going to be. I mean, we'll see. Maybe the market will say, "Hey, we're going to try and entice you to bet on everyone other than the Chiefs."
Yeah.
All right, next game. Seattle, Los Angeles, the Rams in Los Angeles. I have the Rams as a 2.5-point underdog.
What did I say? LA. Well, so the look ahead was, I believe, Seattle -1. I said Seattle -2. I said Seattle might blow Buffalo out. Well, that didn't happen. The Rams are now 1-point favorites at home.
Stop. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter crossing 0, but the Rams should not be favored in this game. Jared Goff looks lost.
Every time I doubt the Rams, though, it's brutal.
Yeah, here's the problem, is that the Seahawks are so easy to kind of destroy on defense that you could see Sean McVay winning this game from the sideline, where he's coming in there and he's inside Jared Goff's mind and he's the puppet master, and he could do that. That being said, we talk about Russ Wilson having these stinker games, but Russ Wilson doesn't have 2 stinker games in a row.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
By the way, Jalen Ramsey versus DK Metcalf should be fun.
Yeah, and whoever else. This might be a Tyler Lockett game. The hard part I have is Seattle's defense is just an atrocity, an unbelievable issue. And like I see 2 different defenses. Would you agree with me on this? It's sort of the opposite of like left tackles, whereas like the difference between, I mean, I guess it's almost the same. Like a defense that's that big of a liability, the repelling towards the center is harder than a defense as good as Tampa's, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's harder for me to see regression in a team like Seattle than it is to see in a team like Tampa Bay defensively. But I don't know. At +1, you're really. I mean, it's not like a good line, but if you like Seattle as a side, go ahead and play it.
Yeah, it's not one that I'm dying to bet right now.
Almost no. There's gonna be no weather, but the Rams are coming off of a bye.
Not in a dome.
Rams coming off of a bye.
This is a chance for the Rams, to right? Because the Seahawks just lost.
Seattle going from home, east, west.
East, west, west. Yeah, it's tough, man, because Russell Wilson, by less than a field goal against Jared Goff's bum ass, is exciting.
It's not great.
It is exciting. Okay, Sunday night is a game that looked a lot more appealing 7 weeks ago, and that is Baltimore in New England. Lamar versus Cam.
This hasn't changed much. So,
well, because the Patriots play tomorrow.
The look ahead was 6.5. I said 7.5. I said Baltimore looks great against Indy. Now they did win by multiple scores, but it's not. I wouldn't say they looked great. It doesn't seem to have budged.
I am way off on this.
Okay, what do you have?
I said 4.
So it's 6.5, but juice towards the Ravens at 6.5. So kind of a 7 almost.
Okay, so the Patriots come out and they beat the Jets. Now, I've said this before. I would not be surprised to see Bill Belichick galaxy brain his way into a loss against the Jets, which would be incredible. That would be that's the most entertaining outcome tomorrow, is Bill Belichick falling on the sword, but it's not going to happen. I am concerned now about the Baltimore Ravens. Should I be concerned about the fact that their offense looked so inept against the Colts?
Colts are not a terrible defense.
No, I know. That's the thing. But they
needed like a fumble return by Chuck Clark. One of the worst calls I've ever seen on a Marcus Peters interception.
That was... what was that?
Gus Bus fumbled in the red zone.
The Clemson refs are looking back on that play. And
they're laughing. They're going all... what's the guy's name? The minister.
Yeah, no one's gonna know this guy is.
Yeah, they're going all. He's just laughing
in COVID's face.
Yeah, Kenneth Copeland. They're going all Kenneth Copeland. In the face of that referee group.
That video's amazing.
Yeah,
you should look it up.
I can't touch this game. I honestly don't think Baltimore is that good.
It's tough.
Lamar
really
doesn't look healthy. He had a rushing touchdown where he kind of like started dancing, but it was like, dude, you're not even like well right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree. This game's a layoff. I don't know. I keep saying that Baltimore is going to bounce back, and they don't. I thought their cover today was a little fluky. Mm-hmm. I felt lucky to have it, but I thought it was a little fluky. Maybe a lot fluky, and we'll see about the Patriots. I mean, who knows? Because if they lose to the Jets, then they are giving up.
It's over, Johnny.
Okay, we have a nice sizable batch of okay games, starting with Houston-Cleveland in Cleveland. What did you have this at?
Cleveland. I said nothing much changes, so I put them at -2.5.
Okay, I had Cleveland -3.5.
Yeah, it looks like
it's probably 3.
2.5, closer to 3 than 2.
This is tough because Deshaun Watson is the second best quarterback in the conference, and his team has no shot. And it's sad. It's so sad because they have skill players. They have a couple of stars. And the Houston Texans have just so mismanaged this roster into oblivion that they have the second best quarterback in a conference where we just talked about the second best team being hard to find.
Yeah.
And they're not even in the conversation.
That's partially why.
They're not even in the conversation. Yeah. That is embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and it's a waste. It's a waste of Deshaun Watson, which is one of the players that should not be wasted in this league.
Yeah,
there should be an option midway through the season where the commissioner could come down and take one player from one team and go, you know what? You don't deserve him, and give him to another team.
Yep.
Where would you put Deshaun Watson right now?
Yeah, he's right there.
No, but I mean, like, what team would you put him on?
If I could just put him on a playoff team?
Yeah, you
Pittsburgh.
How hot would that be? Deshaun Watson on Pittsburgh would be incredible.
So Pittsburgh, I can only see this on FanDuel. I'm assuming it's also on DraftKings. Pittsburgh is plus 550 to win the Super Bowl.
Deontay Johnson.
They're plus Claypool. 4 if it's significantly better if they had Houston's quarterback.
All black and yellow. Oh my goodness. All right.
Pittsburgh could have had Jameis, which is like a trolley ride away from Watson. But.
Now back to this disaster. So I was over. I mean, based on what I thought this is a look ahead, I should probably like Cleveland, but I'm not sure that I don't still like Cleveland. Now, there's some question marks as to Baker Mayfield because he's on the COVID list. I'm assuming it's just exposure and he doesn't actually have coronavirus that he got at a Cheesecake Factory parking lot.
We'll see.
But I'm not like writing it off.
We'll see.
The tough thing is that Deshaun Watson is great and the rest of his team is so bad. And I could see, Cleveland really taking advantage of that with Kevin Stefanski et al. But I don't know. What are your thoughts there? Do you think it moves out?
No.
Dude, Houston almost lost to Jake Luton.
This is their second straight road game, straddling a bye.
This is in Cleveland, isn't that?
Second straight home game, yeah. Straddling a bye. I like Cleveland too much I think Cleveland is the right side here, but I think enough people are going to grab the Houston because of the better quarterback getting points sort of thing.
Even at 2.5.
Yeah. Or tease your leg. Like right now, you should have Colts-Texans in a teaser, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Should we write that up?
I don't hate it.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
I don't hate it. Also, my internet won't load any of the lines. That's fun.
Okay.
You really hate to see that. Okay, next up, we have the Los Angeles Chargers of Anaheim in Miami to play our Dolphins. I had the Dolphins as a 3-point favorite.
I said Miami minus 2.5. That was the look ahead. Nothing really notable. Tua looks fine. Obviously, Tua did better than that right now, but it's 2.5. Moving towards 3, though. The Chargers are. If you throw the Chargers in a teaser, that's going to win because the Chargers are not going to win the game, but they'll win the leg, right? Like because it's they'll keep it within a score. Anthony Lynn will find a way to.
They're a great teaser team.
Yeah.
By the way, can we talk about the chart? So the Chargers, there's a fluke. There is some flukiness to continually losing close games. However, when you decide to throw multiple end zone fades, and the ultimate one that you need to win the game is to a tight end that no one's ever heard of for good reason, you need help. Like you need some real help. You have Keenan fucking Allen on your team. You could triple team Keenan Allen, and there's still a chance that he gets open because that guy is so good at running routes.
My bets did not go very well today, but I did have one on Oakland, and or Las Vegas or whatever, and I was like, I'm going to lose this one. I totally thought I was going to lose that play.
Don't worry, Anthony Lynn to the rescue.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn.
Let's fade it up to Pelham.
Dude.
Who? Antonio Gates is back?
Dude, he was a great
Antonio
XFL
Gates had
player.
a better shot walking in from his home after retirement and making that play. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like that teaser leg, and I'm not quite ready to hop on Miami as a short home favorite.
No.
However, that's the right side. I'm curious what the weather will be like on Sunday in Miami because the Chargers, for being in a warm weather area, play indoors. And we saw what happened to the Rams in Miami, right? They were on the side where the sun was shining, and it was not good. Okay. The team that played Miami, Arizona, is at home, and they are hosting your Buffalo Bills.
My Buffalo Bills?
Yes, your Josh Allen Buffalo Bills.
It's crazy to think about that
It really
this
is.
point. Let me look at my guess here. Buff. Where did I put them? Oh, they're on the road. Okay. I look at it was -3. Nothing much of note happens. Maybe Seattle blows up Buffalo. So my guess is 3. I'm assuming it's off.
I guessed that Arizona would be a 2.5-point favorite.
It's 2, actually.
And it is 2. Okay.
Total 54.
Okay. Kyler Murray take for the day. The dude is playing much, much better this year. But I'm not sure it's necessarily as a passer. His deep ball still looks good. He's got some better receivers. That's great. Where he really looks better, I was surprised as a rookie how unimpressed I was with his rushing. He was always a little hesitant. The salient memory for me from Kyler Murray's rookie season was him sliding behind the line of scrimmage. It's like, buddy, no, don't do that. This year, it's like, oh shit, no one can actually tackle me. I'm going to be aggressive here. And now that may not be sustainable. And if Cliff Kingsbury can ever figure out that this is the case, maybe they can get him some more designed rushing attempts. But he is really, really, really dynamic. And to your point, gives them a shot kind of regardless of the situation, because that's an X factor there. Now, that being said, they did just lose to Miami at home. So
I can't get a gauge on Cardinals. I don't like Buffalo as a teaser leg because the total's so high, and you have the Josh Allen implosion, but they could be. I mean, you're teasing them through 3 and 7, so
total is at 54, and I don't think that's high enough.
Yeah,
let's
put it in there.
Here's my reasoning. The Tre'Davious White DeAndre Hopkins matchup is fun, but I think DeAndre Hopkins can figure it out.
The gloves are off, though, for Arizona. Like, they're going deep to Christian Kirk. They're throwing the ball over the middle.
And they have to.
They're throwing the ball over in the middle to Larry Fitzgerald. The tight ends are getting somewhat involved. Murray's running, and not just running to, like, find a open spot and put his ass on the ground.
Dude's going for it.
Yeah, and then Josh Allen's going to keep both parts of this in play, too. So I like that.
Hey, Josh Allen, top 5 graded quarterback. I think he's going to scrape back into it this week.
He's not bad. He's not playing poorly.
This was a game that I was looking forward to. I put it in this group of games. I probably shouldn't have, but I had to. San Francisco, New Orleans, in New Orleans. I said this would be New Orleans by 12.5.
Look ahead was off the board. I said New Orleans minus 6.5. I said New Orleans looks fine. San Francisco still banged up.
Wait, you said New Orleans by how many?
6.5 is what I said.
Holy Jesus.
Okay, Kenneth Copeland. What else can I say?
Well, I'm immune. Look, if you got coronavirus, it must have been an ancestor of yours that killed someone, and their sins are. That's how it works.
As one does. Okay. So we're this far apart. What is the line?
I don't see it here.
We'll look ahead probably because there's no Garoppolo.
Let's see if Golf Odds had something. Oh, wow. Golf Odds had Jeff Sherman had New Orleans 6.5 before the game. How did people watch San Francisco?
Yeah, but that question could be said every freaking week, right? Like they beat the Rams soundly.
I mean, Kittle ain't walking through that door.
As Emmitt Smith would say, they get blowed out by the Miami Dolphins. Then they kill the Patriots, and then they have this debacle season against.
Yeah, okay. Nick Mullins bad.
Yeah, but Jimmy G could be playing, or is he out? Okay,
he cannot be playing actually because both of his ankles don't work. Okay, at 6.5. If it shows up anywhere near 6.5, I will take it.
Yeah, I don't think we can do it because it's not bettable right now.
Because when it comes back up, it's going to be 8.5 plus. Has to be. I mean, I guess 12.5 was ridiculous.
New Orleans, though, let's not overreact to tonight's game. We've seen New Orleans grind it out with teams like the Chargers and teams like the
in fairness, though,
the Lions.
However, Michael Thomas is back. Emmanuel Sanders looked good. Alvin Kamara
defense looked like it should have been looking all year.
Yeah, I mean, but forget the defense. Like, every facet of their offense played well.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh. This is a fun one. What'd you have it
at? Okay. Pitt. I said 10.5. Nothing much of note happens
I had 9.5.
It is 9. People love the Bengals. People are fading the Steelers because the Steelers don't look like they can extend on teams.
Dude, their offense didn't look good today.
Yeah.
Let's be real here. I mean,
their offense is kind of beige if you're not,
Where does Ben Roethlisberger fall?
I just tried to replace him with Deshaun Watson, so that will tell you that I don't think he's elite.
Yeah. Is he a top 10 guy this year?
No. What would you rather have on your team? Here's a flaming hot question.
Uh-huh.
Who would you rather have right now?
I know what this is.
Kirk Cousins?
Oh, no.
Or Big Ben?
No, not Kirk Cousins.
You're telling me Kirk couldn't execute that offense with those receivers after the catch?
Dude, Cousins. Just...
I understand, but both of those guys are grill guys. Both of them are grill guys. 100%.
Ryan Tannehill.
Kirk is grilling like bratwursts that are in the shape
Ryan Tannehill or Ben Roethlisberger?
Hamburger.
Tannehill or Roethlisberger?
Right now, Tannehill.
Okay. Roethlisberger or Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
Yep. Correct. Roethlisberger or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray by a country mile.
Roethlisberger or Lamar Jackson?
Lamar.
Okay.
Lamar's biggest problem is he
All right.
doesn't have receivers on
I
his
have
team.
the one. Ben Roethlisberger or Derek
Carr.
Carr?
I'd rather have Derek Carr. Derek Carr's a winner. I'm just kidding. I like Derek Carr though. When Derek Carr decides to throw the ball downfield, did you see his?
Just clip that right now.
Did you see his flip today?
Yes, it was fantastic.
Big Ben ain't doing that.
Derek Carr watched the PFF pregame show. He heard me stare into that camera and say, Derek Carr, I respect you. You're going to go over 8.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, he did. He did.
My guy went for it.
He did.
What a champion. God, I would just love to see John Gruden just cooking with gas. Mask, nowhere to be found. Fluttering in the air behind him. Why? Because passion. Monday Night Football. 9.5. If you had to take one side of this game, which side are you taking?
Bengals.
Yeah, I'm with you. Problem. The Bengals still can't pass block anybody.
Neither can Dallas. Garrett Gilbert was able to kind of have a little game today.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think that it's a layoff.
The Steelers defense is the same as Tampa Bay's defense. They are a trolley ride away from being average, just like every other defense in the league, except for the bad ones, the really bad ones. Even Minnesota's defense today was good.
Yeah, no, it's true. God, we've got a lot of yawns going on here.
I know it's brutal. It's mostly my fault.
Maybe we need to start getting a little coffee going.
Yeah, we gotta get.
I normally don't do that. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
But we might make it happen.
I can
get a little espresso maker for the
right. Need
upstairs.
Need it.
Okay. Monday Night Football, Minnesota, your Vikings at Chicago. I have Chicago as a 2.5-point underdog.
You're right.
Ooh.
The look ahead was Chicago 2.5-point favorites.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
now
moved.
That's hilarious.
It almost makes me want to bet Chicago. It's sort of that Rams line movement, right? The Rams Niners.
Do you need me to show you some Nick Foles cut-ups? How about a little David? Can I interest you in a David Montgomery run?
No, you can't.
Yeah,
Minnesota's schedule it's really easy all of a sudden.
I'm curious what the weather looks like here.
Yeah. The Vikings have historically been dreadful in Chicago.
Just terrible. Terrible. All right. We move on to the poo-poo platter.
Teddy did win in Chicago once, but no one else.
You cannot lay claim to Teddy Bridgewater. You bet against him and are feeding me. Teddy Bridgewater is putting food on my table. We're going to do our last 5 podcasts from a steakhouse because...
We should. Yeah, we should. Totally.
Look, just going to let you guys know, it was said during Sunday Night Football, Eric is claiming that some of the bets that I am making were actually dead, have been played already,
yep.
And I'm counting them on our ledger. You're going to apparently read the box score and play-by-play for these games at a later date.
They're dead. I mean,
outside of a 4-season total landscaping.
The best tweet of the day was it? Was it Kevin Clark? It was basically, hey, this is the Seattle Seahawks total landscaping. Like, that was the best.
That was very good. Okay, Denver in Vegas.
No. What did I put it as? I actually did guess this. LV minus 3.5. Chargers. I actually said that. I had a sneaking suspicion the Chargers would do well against the Raiders.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
I had 3.5 as well.
It's 4.5. No, dude, have you watched Drew Lock play?
Yes, it's very tough to watch.
There's no way.
It's very tough to watch. If you can't put points up on Atlanta until you're getting blown out, that's
now the Raiders
good.
are primed for this, but the Raiders have a really good foot on the throat offense. Like, their running game is like Devontae Booker career day today.
The Raiders offense is not just good now, it has been good. It was good all of last season. The problem is that their defense is a joke and they didn't have a lot of big plays. This year it's a little bit different in terms of more big plays. Their offense is more efficient. I'm not sure they're ready to be 4.5 point favorites in a divisional game. But, who am I? Okay, next. Philly Giants.
No.
Again, in New York, I had the Giants as the 3-point underdog. Philly coming off a bye.
That was the look ahead. I said Giants would be plus 3.5. I thought that they would lose to the football team.
It is 3. That is what it is.
I kind of really want the Giants to win this game because I still would I want the NFC East to be terrible.
Total is 42.
No.
Daniel
Jones
keeps everybody involved.
Yeah, but then do you really want to bet on an over with Carson Wentz?
The camo arm sleeve.
Yeah,
there is no worse aesthetic in the NFL than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is the worst dressed on and off the field NFL player.
Trey Hendrickson tonight came close with the white Under Armour
Trey
sleeves,
Hendrickson
no gloves.
Doesn't get considered because it's Trey frickin' Hendrickson. Okay.
He had
Number 1 in the NFL is Alvin Kamara. Number last is Carson Wentz. They can't bet on that. Okay. Jacksonville, Green Bay.
I guessed it would be 14.5 because I said Jacksonville would be a disaster. They were not. Jake Luton was kind of nice.
I also said 14.5.
It's 14.
Apparently people aren't buying the Luton experience.
They are, though.
Well, by a half point.
Yeah, but it's trending towards 13.5.
Yeah, I'll fade that narrative. I'll fade Luton lighting it up.
He looked
in
good.
Lambeau.
I'm surprised,
Packers
given
rested.
that the Jaguars have lost 7 straight, that Doug Marrone still has a job.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm not saying he should be fired. I'm just saying I'm surprised he is. I'm surprised Patricia, who 5 plays in the last 2 weeks has had 10 men on the field, including a 70-yard Dalvin Cook touchdown.
I mean, Patricia is, that is a worse.
Well, what did Anderson Cooper said? Like a turtle laying on its back, swimming. Was that that feels
like
a
beach turtle laying on its back or something?
It feels like that's like watching like the
you
Lions
have your pencil in your ear.
Trying to operate.
How can I trust anything you're saying? You have a pencil in your ear.
Sorry, true.
I don't like either side of that game. Okay, Washington, Detroit. This is the last game, and what a way to go out. Speaking of our great friend, Mr. Patricia, I had the Detroit Lions as a 3-point favorite.
And this game, I don't think is on the board because of Alexander Smith possibly being the QB.
Isn't it also because Stafford is injured?
Stafford did come out of this game. So Detroit, there was no look ahead on the board. I said Detroit minus 3. I said Washington and Detroit look fine this week. Alex Smith did throw for like 300 yards today. We threw 2 really bad interceptions at the end that kept them from at least tying the game at the end, kept the over from hitting and pushed.
I hate the slate.
So okay, here's 4 games I wrote down.
Okay.
Bills-Chargers over 54.
I guess Stafford did clear concussion protocol. Doesn't matter. Yes.
And then I round robin 3 teasers. Colts-Texans, Colts-Chargers, Chargers-Texans. Be kind of like 1 3-pack, if you will.
I like them all.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think they're all worthwhile this time of week.
I like that over a lot.
Let's do it.
Cool. All right, we'll be back with you on Wednesday evening. We hope you guys are all doing well and ready to enjoy Jets, Patriots. My God.
At least Titans-Colts is a game that's not going to
It is
suck.
a good game, yeah. Hopefully it gets played. You never know with Nashville being involved.
Saw Clay at the game.
You did?
Well, you tweeted it out.
Oh.
So.
How did you do fading Clay Travis's college picks this week?
I went 8-4.
What did he? So he went 4-8. Yeah. You hate to see that. All right. We love you guys. Be well. See ya.
Thanks for watching the PFF YouTube channel. And if you want to subscribe, all you have to do is push the button. Don't forget everything you get. A little fantasy, push the button. A little green line for the gambling aspects of the game, push the button. College football, push the button. The YouTube channel from PFF.